Hi there, welcome back to my channel and welcome to part 3 of Fabulously Filthy with Emily Parcel. I thought we'd have a little look into the aspiration that we're actually working on here, just so I can show you what all the upcoming parts of the aspiration that we'll have to complete are. So here it is. Here, as you can see, we've already got the leave out food to spoil. And they max out Emily's fun motive while on a dirty floor. That one got checked off when she was reading books. That maxed out her fun motive because the house was dirty because of the dirty plates lying about. So we still have to do 3 kitchen or bathroom items to become dirty. And we have to get a dirty floor, which will be puddles or dust, will allow us to get that. For the dirty bathroom and kitchen items, because Emily's a slob, she doesn't flush the toilet when she goes to the toilet, so that should get dirty pretty quickly. So then it'll just be a case of waiting for one of the sinks and the shower to get dirty or kitchen worktops to get dirty, and that should let us check that one off. The second part of the aspiration there is called Chore Dodger. That includes befriending a dust bunny, cooking 3 meals on a dirty floor, asking 3 Sims to clean, and hiring a cleaner, which hopefully we'll only have to do once. That should be a little bit easier because between last time and recording of this video, I've gone in and changed some of the lot rates on the house, which I'll show a little bit later, which should help it get dirty a little faster. The third part there is called Low Standards, and that includes eating 3 spoiled meals, bathing 3 times in a dirty bath or shower, not washing your hands when you go to the toilet, and inviting a sim over to a dirty house. Should be easy enough to do, especially the not washing the hands when you go to the toilet, because again, as Emily is a slob, she does that automatically anyway. And eating the 3 spoiled meals again, if I'd made her a freegan, that one might be a little bit easier to do because I think it, as we saw before, when she eats spoiled food, it does affect her mood, unfortunately. And the last part is Filth Fiend, which is knocking over 3 trash cans, a filth tribute to a filth friend, have a party in a dirty house, and woohoo in a dirty house. And again, those last parts should be fairly easy because in this installment we did make a few friends and get a few leads on someone who we could perhaps woohoo with in the house. As you can probably see from some of the signs on my screen here, I play on console, I don't play on PC, so I don't have access to mods. I tend not to use any cheats. I do sometimes use the move objects and the debug items, but other than that, I'm pretty much what you would call a vanilla player. But one thing I am going to do is I'm adding the Penny Pixies challenge lot, Penny Pixies lot trait there, which means every time Emily sits down on something, you'll get a little pop-up with sort of 3, 4 or 5 simoleons. It's an easy way to just generate a little bit of extra income if you're doing a challenge like this where your sim doesn't have a job. And for the lot challenges, I'm turning on Filthy, which, as you can see there, it makes things get dirtier quicker. It'll make the kitchen and bathroom items get dirtier quicker, which is what we have to do for part of our aspiration, so that should help that come along a little faster. I did think about turning on some of the other lot challenges, but I don't think they'll really help us. For example, Grody there, I've tried that on before in a challenge, and literally all it does is make your sim feel sick when they eat something. They get a negative moodlet and they'll be sick in the toilet. It doesn't help with getting things dirty faster. And I did think about turning on Gremlins because they will break things around your house, which will cause puddles on the floor and help towards a dirty floor. But it does then also mean that Emily would have to repair or pay to replace the items that get broken. And because she's lazy, I just feel that she'd be slow learning how to repair things. And I didn't want to turn on mould or maintenance troubles because obviously I am going to be letting the house get dirty and letting puddles sit, and that would encourage the growth of mould, which could put Emily's life at risk, and I would rather get through the whole aspiration before she turns into a giant mushroom. Another thing I like to do when I'm playing as a sim who doesn't have a job is to go to the Humour and Hijinks Festival, which you can see there happens once every 2 weeks on the Monday night. If you go along to that, you can join the jokesters or the pranksters. The easiest one I've found is to join the jokesters. You can stand up at the microphone and tell jokes. You can tell jokes to other sims around you. And then that way the jokesters will usually win. And when you win, you get 500 simoleons plus fireworks and a microphone stand, which you can all sell. And I think you end up with probably around about 1,500 simoleons in total. And it's a good way just to get out and socialise with other sims and make a bit of extra money on the side. Appropriately, Emily actually maxed out her fun need reading the book while she was sitting on the toilet, which checked off that part of the aspiration, and it completed the lifelong aspirations, which was the last of the starter tasks that you get up in the top left there. So looking around the house, you can see there is a dirty bowl on the bathroom sink. There's a plate beside the TV, and then there's a plate on the table there, and there's the 2 lots of food on the kitchen counter that have spoiled, and all of that has contributed towards making a dirty environment, which allowed her to achieve that part of the aspiration. So I'm getting a random call from Olive Spectre. I'm getting the wealthy weirdo call from Olive Spectre, which I am just going to accept. I haven't had the Lovestruck expansion pack for long. I've only accepted that once before in my playthroughs, and it didn't end well. My sim turned up to meet the wealthy sim and went inside the hotel and came out a little while later with a tense moodlet because she was stood up. So it will be interesting to see if Olive turns up. And the Grim Reaper is calling now to offer me a job because I've also just got the Life and Death expansion pack. I'm going to say no to that because I think we've got enough going on trying to complete this aspiration. I think that would just complicate things. But I will go to Ciudad Enamorada and I will meet up with Olive and see if that goes any better this time around and hopefully make some money out of it. So let's see how that goes. So it's the Vista Hermosa is the neighbourhood that I want to go to. And the lounge in the blue building there is the best building to travel to because that's fairly close to the location of the hotel where you meet up with the wealthy weirdo. So we'll choose that as our location to travel to. And here we are at our location. So if I just have a little look around for the hotel we go to, it's this blue building here. And there I have the option to meet wealthy weirdo. And it's just a rabbit hole. If you've never done it before, your sim will go in there, disappear for a little while and come back out. And hopefully it goes a little better this time. She has a strong, playful moodlet, as you can see down in the bottom there, which I think is to do with the fact it's sort of a strained look on the face for the playful moodlet. Is to do with the fact that we're meeting a stranger, so it's like a concerned and happy moodlet. And Johnny Zest is calling me while I'm meeting the wealthy weirdo. I'll see what he's saying. Okay, this is the other standard call you can get at the start of a new game where he wants to come and stay over. It's usually for 7 days. I don't want him coming over because he might clean up the house, which I obviously don't want. And I've got a playful good moodlet coming out of there, so it looks like my meeting went well with the wealthy weirdo. Emily's confused, but she seems quite happy, which means I think I should have some gifts in my inventory there. And yes, I've got a number of things. I've got decorative eggs, I've got alien rocks, I've got crystals, and all sorts. So I'll sell all of those, and that'll give us some, it'll give us a boost to our funds there. So we've arrived back home, and Emily is looking quite stinky, so I'm not sure exactly what she was up to with Olive Spectre there, but she must have done something quite energetic to get stinky, so I'm just going to have her take a shower just now. Just tidying up these books so that Emily has places to leave the plates so they can get dirty on the table. And Knox Greenberg is calling me. And okay, he's inviting me to the Moon Rivalry event, which I'm going to say yes to, just because it's an opportunity to socialise with other Sims, so I'll take him up on that. I usually say no to those sorts of things in a regular playthrough, but I'll do it just now just to see where it takes me and what it's like. Okay, this is a little bit strange because I have a pop-up in the top left, but there's no activities next to it. Normally there would be something that I would have to achieve, like watch fireworks or buy a t-shirt when you go to one of the city living festivals. And Emily and Knox are just immediately going to start playing games on their phone. So I'm not really sure what we're supposed to be doing or where we're supposed to be going because we seem to just be in the middle of nowhere, and I'm not very familiar with Ravenwood because I only just got the Life and Death expansion pack and haven't spent a lot of time exploring the new world. So I'm just going to have a quick look around and try and figure out where we're supposed to be. Okay, I see some Sims moving over in this direction up at the top of the screen here. So I'm assuming there must be something on over in the direction that they are all walking. So I'm going to have Emily go in that direction just now, and then I'll try and see if I can figure out where they're all gathering and what it is that I'm supposed to be doing right now. Still having a look. Okay, I see a fire, and I see some speech bubbles and thought bubbles. Okay, this is where we're supposed to be. Fire dancing, and they're stargazing on the ground there, and there's some food on the tables, so we can go and get some free food. I'm still not sure exactly what this event is supposed to be. I think it might be a bit bugged out. I don't know if that's something that's just happening on console or if that's happening for PC players as well, if anyone else has encountered this event before. It's a bit strange, but I'll go along and I'll try just socialising with some of the other Sims and see if that achieves any objectives. I'm just spinning along. The place it took me to when I arrived here was really far away from where the actual campfire is. That's Emily just finding her way there now, and that's taken a good couple of minutes. So who all is here? I see you've got Daryl Charm, we've got Jeb Harris. And okay, it's Amelia Ernest. Oh, and Olive Spectre, my wealthy weirdo, is here as well. I see Elphaba there as well. A few other random Sims. It doesn't, apart from Olive, it doesn't seem to be anybody from Ravenswood here. So I'll maybe go and say hello to Olive since I'm here anyway, just to keep up my relationship with her. Between her, Johnny and Knox, that gives Emily 3 friends and 3 possibilities of a Sim that she can woohoo with for that last part of the aspiration. We do have a bit of a romantic relationship going with Olive already after meeting with her, so she'll maybe be the Sim that we use for that part. Still not sure what it is that we're supposed to be doing, but I am going to do this ghastly gavette, this new dance that came with the Life and Death pack, because I do enjoy the way it looks when the Sims do this. I only tried this out for the first time yesterday in another game file I was playing through, and it is quite funny to watch. So let's see how Emily does, because she hasn't got much dancing experience, but yeah, she's doing quite well. Okay, so my little objective box at the top left corner disappeared without completing anything, but it does allow me to now go home, and Emily is quite tired, so I'm just going to end it and go home. I think that event was just bugged. I'm not really sure what that was supposed to be, but at least it's letting me go home now while she's tired. I'm not sure if that's just me playing on console that's bugged for, or if it's bugged for everyone. I'll have to have a look online and try and figure out what happened there. It's Emily back home, and just send her straight to bed to sleep for the night. I'm still not really sure what the objective of that event was supposed to be. I do quite like the look of Oasis Springs compared to some of the other worlds. What I don't like about the background of some of the other worlds is that they show other buildings in the background, whereas in this particular part of Oasis Springs, you just see like the dinosaurs, the casino lights, and just the local buildings in your neighbourhood. There's not too many other houses that you can see from this view, because I feel, particularly in the likes of Newcrest, because you can see a lot of other houses and buildings in the background, it forces you into a specific style of architecture when you're building, and if you try to build something in a different style, it just never quite looks right. So that is one thing that I prefer about Oasis Springs over the other worlds. Johnny Zest invited Emily to GeekCon. I did just go to participate in the gaming tournament. I don't think I got a very good score though. She didn't have very much video gaming skill prior to coming here. I only got a score of 30, so that means I haven't placed and I won't win anything, but it was still worth it just to come along for a bit of socialisation as well. And could maybe, and I've got the pop-up. Okay, so this is another new pop-up that's come with Life and Death. I've only had this once before in one other playthrough that I've done, and I just took the money, and it didn't have any bad consequences. I think I got about 2,000 simoleons. I'm going to just take it again this time, and this time I'm getting 4,000 simoleons, which is even better, so hopefully there's no negative consequences there. I'm not going to be doing that. That's the 7 wild dates. I've never actually agreed to do that on any of my playthroughs. It is part of the Love Struck pack. I've seen from other people who do playthroughs that have accepted it that you do have to then go on 7 different dates, and I think you have to do it within 7 days. And they all, I think, have to go well for you to pass. And I'm not really sure what it is that you get when you pass. I don't know if you get simoleons or any sort of reward, so I don't really know if it's worth it for me to do that, so I'm not going to in this instance. That's the hackathon finished, and I see there that you do actually get, you can win for first prize, you can win a PC, and even second and third place you can win simoleons. So if your sim does have hacking skill, it would probably be worth doing the hackathon in the same way that I usually do the Humour and Hijinks Festival, just to get some extra money. Emily doesn't have a computer at home to practice hacking, and it's not really a big part of this playthrough, so I won't be doing it this time, but that's something to consider if you were doing a playthrough with a sim who had any sort of hacking ability. So that's the Find Festival event that I'm getting flagged for there. I think I have attended that in another playthrough. I haven't done it in this one and probably won't. There's nothing really much to benefit from. I am going to just have a look in my calendar though and see what that other event I went to with Nox was. The Full Moon Revelry or something I think it was called. I'm going to see what exactly that was and what the point of that was, and see if that's something that's worth going to if I do get invited again, because obviously when I went last time no objectives showed up. So see if I can find it here. There it is there, the Moon Revelry. So you're supposed to moonbathe, night swim, there's a crackling bonfire, and you can take your clothes off. And I didn't notice that mountain in the background with the face on it when I went last time. It took me so long to find where I was supposed to go. Okay, so now I see what it's about. I don't really think it's worth going to something like that, so if I get invited again I probably won't accept, but at least now I know what it was actually supposed to be. And that happens every time there's a full moon. And one of my favourite packs to play with is the werewolf pack, so that's worth knowing that that's an event that happens on the full moon. That might be something that would be quite fun to do if you were playing with werewolves, just for the chaos of it, for having your werewolf affected by the full moon and going to an event like that. That's the floor of the house starting to look dusty and dirty now. Don't think that's not enough for us to have achieved that part of the aspiration. So I know there's 2 different levels of dust. There's the first level where there's dust like that, and as you can see in the corner there's a dust bunny appeared. The second level is when it gets really grimy and your sims start to get that moodlet where it looks like a face that's throwing up dust. I think that's the level of dirt we'll have to get to be able to achieve that part of the aspiration, which will unfortunately take a few days longer. I decided to try my luck doing some dumpster diving with Emily. The only negative moodlet she has is the gross air from the polluted air in this neighbourhood, which is in Evergreen Harbour. So I don't know if that's because she's a slob, that she isn't as negatively affected. Her hygiene doesn't seem to be going down as quickly as a Sims usually would when I do dumpster diving. Usually by the time I've done 3 or 4 turns of this, even if their hygiene need is maxed out, it's down to red and they're sort of waving their hands and complaining about it. But Emily seems to be lasting a little bit longer, which, as I say, I think might be because she's a slob. After dumpster diving, I found a fridge that was better than the one that Emily had, so I've just swapped that one out, sold her old one, and I found these 2 chairs that are fire damaged. I'm not going to replace them, I'm just putting them out because I'm hoping that because they are dirty, they will help contribute to the overall dirty and generally bad environment in the house, and hopefully that will help us towards our aspiration. I'm going to have Emily bake something. I recently did a playthrough where I did all the food-related aspirations, and I found that baking, rather than just cooking or gourmet cooking, got the counters dirty really quickly. So she's only got bacon level 1, so we'll just make some breadsticks there, and I'll see if that makes the countertops dirty. It probably will. That might be a good tip for how to get your countertops dirty if you are trying this challenge. You can obviously use cheats to make your countertops dirty, but this may be a quicker way to make it happen. Emily's just about finished making that, or mixing up that batch of breadsticks. So we'll see, and yes, that's made the countertop dirty. So that's a good tip if you're looking for a way to make the house dirty without using any cheats, that baking is a quick way to make your countertops dirty. Likewise, if you don't want to make your kitchen dirty, avoid baking, because it seems to just always make my kitchen dirty, even just the first time I do it. Okay, for some reason I seem to have checked off 3 kitchen and bathroom items becoming dirty. So I'm not really sure what all contributed towards that. I don't see that the sink is looking dirty in the kitchen or in the bathroom, or that the toilet's dirty. I guess maybe the shower must be dirty, and maybe the kitchen counter, well, one of the kitchen counters there is definitely dirty. Maybe it's the fridge because there's spoiled food in the fridge. I'm not really sure what's contributed to that, but that's one more part of the aspiration complete. I've been trying to befriend the dust bunnies, but I think the only way to do it is to feed them, and the only way to feed them is to vacuum the house, unfortunately. Emily just having a wee fart there and enjoying herself, because she's a slob, of course. So I'm unfortunately going to have to purchase a vacuum and vacuum up these dust bunnies. I have tried a few times, but I'm not growing any friendship with them, and that is something that we need to do later on in the aspiration. So if I get a vacuum now and vacuum to collect some dust, I can then set that aside and let the house get dirty again and feed them. Unfortunately, that's going to set us back a little bit for getting the first part of the aspiration here, which was to let one floor of the house become dirty. That's going to take a little bit longer to get there, unfortunately. So I think I'm just going to end this video here for today, and I'll come back once I've done a few changes to the house, and I'll probably add another floor. That'll give us more chances for more dust bunnies to appear, more chances to feed them, more chances for one floor of the property to get dirty, and I'll probably just make a couple of other little changes to the house, and I'll update that in the next part. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.